Getting good. Hey! Instagram is me, T from the Pattersons, taking the train to Tibet. It's a Monday. Yes, it's a Monday. I know because I went to the beach this morning. Here's the thing. Every Monday and Thursday I go to the beach. I know it's Monday. I gotta get these things straight. Anyway, Monday is, as you should know by now, it's pretty good. I don't know if it's gonna end actually, but next Wednesday, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, I leave for the States. And that same day, Wednesday, I end up in the States. Why? Because I'm in India now, I'm going to States to go backwards in time. Don't worry about that part. So this is actually, Monday is always called a me day. You know, like Tuesday is a U.S. day, Wednesday is a world day, Friday is a week wrap-up day, Saturday is whatever comes into my head day, Sunday is a reading day, and Monday is a me day. These are themes for the day. And it usually happens at night. The morning is a whole other thing. That's a Grand Rising report. Don't get into that. But these things, they're meant to keep me on point, which I never, well, not never, but sometimes I don't stay on point. Sometimes the stuff gets mixed up. But I had a request for this me day, right? Now, me day, I'm supposed to talk about myself. Now, I did it only because I had to have this obligation, right? Because not this whole thing, but I started talking online, if you want to put it that way, when I had my YouTube channel, but I was trying to record, I was recording my thoughts because it's a audio memoir. People write their memoirs and then, what's the audio, let me put it this, let me be more accurate. This is, when I started my YouTube channel, I was maybe 3 times a week, every 3 times a week, I would record and I would say things that happened to me, blah, blah, blah. I started because this guy asked me a question. So that went on for a while. Then he retired, then I kept on going. But like I said, about 3 times a week, things that happened because I have a significant life. But I'm just saying, I get into a situation and I always got a story. I'm an audio dramatist. I can make up stories. Well, anyway, so then when I got stuck in New York with the COVID, I started to just take pictures and put up on Instagram. When I started Instagram, just take pictures around, just put up on Instagram, and then think I have a little opinion I would say like that. Anyway, it morphed into this. But you see, I'm an audio dramatist, but more important, I basically most of my adult life, if you want to put it that way, actually since 1972, I've been in community radio. That's important. Community radio is different than whatever radio, than other kind of radio. So I've done everything in radio. I have skills, right? And most of the things I do is behind the scenes. I like engineering and stuff like that. Production engineering like that. I'm usually the third wheel on the thing. Well, let me put it this way. Somewhere in my life, I always had these readings, sometimes the psychics, whatever. It's not like I seek it out. It's sort of convenient to happen at the time. Numerology is a big one that I use a lot. But a guy told me, he said, looking at your thing, I think he was reading my chart, whatever it was. He says, you can never be the spotlight. You're behind the scenes. Now, this is when I'm older, I'm going yeah, I know, that's my thing. I like being behind the scenes. I like propping somebody else up, but that's what I do. I'm a good wingman. No, not wingman. Wingman connotes something else. I'm a good lieutenant. I'm a good, not lieutenant. Yeah, whoever the big military, I'm the attaché to the military guy or give the salient advice. Ooh, the salient. The brother used a big word. Woof, 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 woof. I wonder if he knows what I mean. At this point is this. So back when I started, I was a poet in resident for the Saturday Show with JB, and when we started, it was just him doing the records. Then I came in, and I won't get into that story. We had that story some other time. Anyway, so I started doing poetry. So it was just me and him. And this always happens. If it starts like that, all of a sudden things get bigger. So if we end up having like a crew of 5 people, including us, JB, me, show. It's 3 women, right? And we started doing these jingles and it was quite entertaining, right? But when I got to what do you call that? When I got to my undergraduate school, my official, I got kicked out. Well, sometimes I have abandonment issues, but let me put it away. I was at Bronx Community College before all that stuff. Before I got into all that stuff, and he took over the school. To make a long story, very short, I had to leave the school. I had to leave Boston Community College. Right? Anyway, when I was at Rutgers University, when I was at Rutgers University, but Livingston College, Rutgers University, then we had at Rutgers College proper, they had the broadcast station, and I got a program on that station because there was this whole thing that happened. Anyway, I got legit. I mean, really legit. I took this test. It was a very difficult test. Took the test, passed it, and they owed me a time something. They gave me time, but I brought a crew on with me. In other words, just instead of becoming my show, I don't do that. I don't do my. It's never my thing. I've always existed in a. I like being part of the crew. I like even when Boston Community College. I like revolutionary cells. I'm gonna say I like cells. I like small groups. That's all my life. Hey, my family is a small group. You know, with 6 kids. And so that's anyway. When I got to WBAI, you know, I'm doing even when I finally did my own program, No More Radio. I created. It's about a small group. There's about like 14 people involved in No More Radio on different levels. Anyway, but because of No More Radio, we had this folio, and every once in a while they would do some feature. Anyway, so they asked me for a picture, something like that, to advertise in the folio. It's a program guide. In the program guide, you know, have No More Radio, and then you know we had to say something about the program. One time, my most famous saying on the program. One time on the program guide, I put, arguably the third best program on radio. And then I said, the best program being Stormy Monday. The second best, you pick what you want. I'm a piss man. I love to write. So anyway, so what happened at the time, there was this guy, Toby and Colette. They were photographers. And he had to do some sort of project or something like that. So he asked me to basically model for him for a project. But here's the thing about me. If I'm like a producer, I have a really good sense of putting things together, right? For instance, when I was at Negro Ensemble Company, what's the name? Bobby Hooks took an interest in me for whatever, I don't, you know, like this. Sometimes people take interest in me, especially when I was younger. And I got hired to be a model, right? For there's a campaign for Job Corps, a thing called Job Corps, not Peace Corps, for Job Corps. And there was a slogan, what did you drop into when you dropped out of school? And they had all in different, talk about diversity. So in each poster they had a different person. They'd have a girl, they had a black girl, a white girl, they had an Asian guy. I was the black guy, right? But when we went to, when we went to shoot it, we shot it up in Harlem to shoot I didn't know it was a campaign. They just wanted me to model. And I had on my Cadet Corps shirt that had the Cadet Corps, you know, New York Commission Cadet Corps, a little logo there, right? And so I had that on. It was going to, so I said, wait a second. And I took the shirt off and turned it around backwards, so it was inside out. And I remember clearly, I said, I want to be next to this building here because it had a little pock mark in it. So I looked like, so basically, I can become certain things at this particular point. I mean, I can morph. You know, I'm good. Like my build and everything like that. Like for instance, I look like a baseball player. I can't play baseball. I look like a musician, but I don't play music. I can be a great actor. Actor's nothing but a glorified model. I shouldn't say that. They have skills. My point is, I can pass for a bunch of things. You know, I can be a nuclear scientist. You know, so I can be a really good actor. I'm gonna get to that point. So I knew how this picture was gonna. I knew about that, and I got that, and I put that look on. You know, it wasn't like it wasn't like it looked like I was from the ghetto, but I was like from the ghetto because of everything like that. But I wasn't like the evil, the really tough kid, tough enough to look like from the ghetto, but whatever. So I took that picture came. I gotta find that picture. I mean, it's gotta exist someplace because it was a government thing. Somebody look up. Somebody find out. Job Corps had this campaign. What did you drop into when you dropped out of school and then they said you could drop, you can job corps would give you a thing to whatever happened. This thing went all over the world. One of my neighbors said she was in the Virgin Islands. She would go, she said, oh, I saw you posted at the Virgin Islands like that. And I had that poster for a while till my first wife destroyed it. We won't get into that. Like, the point is this. So I know how I look, and I know that sometimes, even though right now the Bell's palsy got me, but it's getting better. In a couple of weeks, I might be back to normal. Then you said, and for instance, I know how I look. I know, and I can, at particular points, I can look like I want to look. I mean, personally, I like to look rough. When I say rough, I like to look unkept, right, like that. Now I'm showing off my eldership. So I look like an elder, right? I'll tell you. So I think right before I go to, I'll change when I get to New York. When my barber will be there, he'll freak out. He'll make me look something, right? Yes, I'll still look like an elder. And then right before I leave, I have to, when I go to Cape Town for the beginning of July for this food and daba, I'll look a certain, I'll look whatever, you know what I mean? So I look like, they'll let me through like that. Okay, so Toby and Colette wanted to take this picture. So at the time I'm doing radio. So I have a Sony D6, what's the D6? Whatever the instrument was, and I had a microphone, and I had a special pistol grip for this microphone, right? So I take this picture where they had the recorder. It's a portable recorder. It's the best at the time. Recorder was up here. I put my hand right next to the recorder so you could see the dials and the microphone was plugged into the thing, and I had the pistol grip like that. So look, I'm a radio man, a radio man doing the radio thing, right? So so they took that picture, but it's professional, they're professional photographer. My hair, I was in locks. My hair was in locks, and I think Rondi Miller did the hair, so it was really good. I mean, my locks were, look, when I first got locks, when I first got locks, it was, you would be killed. This was when I first got locks in the 80s. Yeah, they would kill you for having locks. Just telling you. I don't, you know how people are. They would, have the authority, so they would kill you for having locks. I won't get into it right now. But then in the 90s, I got locks again. 1989, I remember, because my niece was born. She's the one I finally had. I said, if I cut my locks, she'll have to cut my locks. She did when I was in 2002, 2003, when I started to travel like this. Anyway, but the locks are really, they were like, I think when I got my locks, they would call them fashion locks. This was before locks was really big, right? And so it was like that. It wasn't wearing glasses, stuff like that. It was really. And so I took the picture, and they took the picture, I should say. And there's an interesting thing. There's something about my eyes, if you can say like that, like if something about my eyes, like my children. The reason I can tell that they're my children is my eyes, like that. It's the high cheekbones for the American Indian thing. There's a color in the skin. There's because I got certain colors in the skin. It goes with whatever I wear. Like one time, Delphine Blue, who does the radio thing there, she would do her program, and I would come in. I had different kind of shirts on, and one time she said to me, "She said you look good in any color." So shout out to Delphine Blue. So for right now I'm wearing this. I should look good. Electric blue, or whatever it is, right? So this picture was a professional picture. It's like the negative was like this big. It was a big negative, right? And I submitted it for the folio, and they took it like that, and then I got the negative back. So this guy, Dave Bernstein, I won't say anything like that. He's part of. This is before Creative Unity. This is before Creative Unity took over the folio, and so he was in charge of the folio. And so I got the negative back. He said, "Oh, can I borrow the negative again? I need to do something." Whatever he said. Right? So I said, "That's all right. I'm not a I can't tell you, but I'm not like a vain person. I'm not really. I have this thing. I'm not looking, seeking for fame or fortune or nothing like that. I have this. Like I said, I'm like the third wheel or the second wheel. I'm not. I don't want to be. I don't want to be famous. I don't have a fear of fame or a fear of success or something like that. It's just that I don't find it whatever. Like when I was doing Democracy Now, we was in Firehouse, and then we finally, then they started to broadcast it. The guy Yuri, he used to always catch me on the camera like that. He's a lot with my hands, whatever. And my hands. There's another thing with my hands. My 2 points are my eyes and my hands. It's some weird thing like that. I can hypnotize you with my hands because my hands are soft. I used to get, no, well, let's leave that alone. But, so you used to take me and say, why, come on, stop, you know. He said, no, you're photogenic. Okay, fine. You know, well, luckily, you know, things turned out the way they turned out. Okay, back to the point. So this picture, it was striking. And we took the picture, and it was so good that it was supposed to be just a small little thing. They made it like a quarter of a page, almost like a half a page of the folio. And there was something about the way I looked, everything like that, but there was something about my eyes. It was like, not demon. It's like, really, it's like, Toby and Colette really captured whatever they were trying to capture, right? And in fact, it was so good. Okay, I'm going to tell you this thing. Jake, I'm telling you. Jake, who has this deadpan humor. Jake is a long time, like, when you do audio drama, the most important person is your technical director. Well, the most important person actually is your sound people, but you live and die on your technical expertise, right? I'm a good technician, but you know, right? So my two technicians were like Jake and Grayson, but Jake was the man, the myth, the legend. You know, he works for Sirius Satellite Radio. Hey, he's a big muckety muck now, man. And at one point, he's one of the people he helped where he used to engineer for Mighty Clouds of Joy up there in Connecticut. He started in Connecticut, Mighty Clouds of Joy. I think he even did Whitney Houston one time. Before she was Whitney Houston. So he knows. He built a host. He builds studios. He built a studio for Sony. Right? That's how good Jake is. But it's not about Jake. It's supposed to be about me. It's me there, right? So Jake looked at the picture. Came out in full, and he said, "Huh." He said, "I do you. You know. Yeah, you're all going to say something." But it was just that sexy. It was a sexy, sexy, sexy picture. I recently came somehow and got it. I found it, and I thought it was appropriate to put it. So if you look back my Instagram in a couple of days, just look back when I think when I do one of those things with 3 or 4 hits, something like that. You'll see it. It's like the 4th one I did for Rick. I forgot why I put it there. Because it came across, I'm going to use it. And so my friend saw it, and I tell him, yeah, there's a story behind that. And the story is that Dave Bernstein, he stole the negative and never got it back. And I'm asking for it. He said, well, I can't find it. Well, why would you steal it? I don't understand. But here's the thing. In my life, for some reason, I don't have a lot. I have one of this, one of that. I have my cadet corps jacket, my cadet corps, not my fraternity, my cadet corps jacket, and it was hanging in my closet when I was at Livingston College. And my roommate, for some reason, took it one weekend, took it home and took it. And then he comes back and says, he don't have, what happened? My girlfriend ripped it up. What? This stuff happens to me. And sometimes these things are so egregious, so outrageous. I just let it go. I figured, whatever, you know. So back to the picture. So this picture, that's the story behind the picture. It was done by a professional photographer in studio. The top that I'm wearing is an African top that I designed. You know, the hair is my hair. The idea, I think the whole shoot is basically my idea, whatever. Because I got it that way. I'm a good producer. I can put things together. You know, I don't know why. I just can. It's one of my hidden talents right there. So that's the story behind the picture. But let me say this. It's interesting. Man, I get one thing, like the shoes, the barefoot, whatever, it's supposed to be all the rage of a certain section of young people right now. But I got to be quite bad. The camera right now, OnePlus. The first OnePlus I have is OnePlus 3, right? This is OnePlus 7. I hear that the OnePlus 12 was out. There's a OnePlus 13 that's supposed to be the monster, right? I like numbers, so I'm not gonna go for OnePlus 13. I'll probably go for the OnePlus 12, but I ain't got the money like that. I'm trying to get that money can get me to Ethiopia, you know. Well, that's not. Anyway, so the point is, and this is a OnePlus 7, which is actually the best OnePlus they put out, and now they're up to 13. So you know, so I'm not. And I have a OnePlus 6. But anyway, I find OnePlus before anybody knew what it was, you know, and it ends up it's always like top tier camera, you know. Mobile device, right? I had this, I had one of the shooter, those pocket cameras like that, and it had the best sound. A lot of stuff like that. So, and usually those little cameras don't have a good sound thing. I forgot what you call them, cameras. Like that. So for some reason, I always come across the best. Hey, when New Balance, before New Balance was world famous, I was at Englishtown Flea Market in New Jersey, and I picked up the original New Balance was just, they only had one color, maroon, right? Started wearing that. I was one of the first people wearing New Balance. Why is that? I don't know, but you know, then we all hit the race. Oh, inline skates. I had inline skates before inline skates was a thing. In fact, when I had them, I thought this is going to be a big thing. It took years, like 4 years later, I came back to New York Central Park. Everybody's inline skating. If I got a pro, my thing was a pro. My point is, I'm sort of really ahead of the curve, right? And that's just my thing. This whole thing, I can see things before they happen. I don't say it like that. That's not true. I somehow involved with things before they happen. The whole thing now with Burkina Faso, when it first hit, I said, oh, this is it. I'm all in. Even reparations. When ADOS started, right? I have a thing. If you go to my YouTube channel, it's the whole thing of reparations. You can see I traced reparations from the very beginning. That's also a funny story. I won't get into that story, but there's a thing that happened around that, right? Anyway, my point is, and the reparations, to me, the reparations movement is the most important movement. I know the most important movement right now is the unification of Africa and the diaspora. That's very important. Anyway, but reparations is the most important thing because I'll get into that another time. But it's the most important thing. No matter who you are, you can be reparations adjacent. You can be whatever you want to be. You want to support. You say you love black people, whatever have you. Well, you know, you can speak up for reparations no matter what stripe you are. You can speak up for reparations. Reparations is the thing for the diaspora, especially for Black Americans and whatever. Okay, so that's it. So the story behind this picture was done by professional photographers, with me being the producer, let's put that other thing, and the only negative got stolen by this little fat fuck. I'm sorry I had to curse, you know, and then we wouldn't get it back. You know? It's not that I hate the person, because people take. I have one of a kind thing people take from me all the time, but you know, if even this is late date, if I run into the little Dave Burstein is his name, Dave Burstein, a thief, you know. Want to destroy whatever. Oh man, I don't know why I'm getting upset. I shouldn't get upset. It happened. It's supposed to happen. But I should say one thing in my lineage. This is my lineage and my maternal lineage, because I don't know what my father was. There's a picture I have of my grandmother. You would call her a handsome woman. She's tall or whatever, and like that. But there's a picture that was taken in, I guess, the 40s, late 40s or the 50s. I think it was the late 40s. I think it was before, whatever, I think late 40s. They were at a ball, all three of them were at the ball. My grandmother, her sister, my evil aunt, talk about evil, and my mother, and they took this picture in this ball. They were all like, and they were dressed to the nines because it was like the 40s, 50s, whatever. And I'm looking at it, I'm looking at this picture, I'm like, whoa, these some fine women. I'd do them all. There they go, the sun. Down and did the thing again. Oh. Anyway, the point is, I come from a lineage of, it's a weird kind of thing. I'm not the most handsome person, the most whatever. In fact, for a long time, people would say I was cute. I hated that. Then when I got my locks, people stopped saying I was cute. They say I was gorgeous, right? That's right. Like I said, I can change it. Look, I do better. Anyway, so that's it. I'll talk to you all later.